If you are over 60 years old and have noticed that your masculine strength is no longer what it was, sensitivity has decreased, and sexual desire has disappeared, then what I am about to tell you next may surprise you. The fact is that problems with your masculine strength are not just age. This is a quiet alarm signal, a cry for help, a hint that blood circulation has slowed down, tissues are inflamed, and the nervous system is beginning to gradually give up. But you may not have been told that there is a simple and natural way to return what you considered lost. A method that does not require pills, injections, and feelings of shame. And it begins with two things that are probably already in your home: castor oil and baking soda. I am Dr.Michael, a specialist in men's health. I am 38 years old, and I have years of practice behind me. I have helped many men, just like you, to regain strength, sensations, and confidence again, without medications and loud promises. What I'm going to share with you is based on proven science and results of real cases. I know it sounds incredible that castor oil and baking soda can help your masculine strength, but that is exactly why you should listen carefully, because this combination does not just remain on the surface of the skin, it penetrates deeply. It can help reverse the 7 most common and underestimated root causes of weakening masculine strength in men over 60 years old. It can restore blood circulation, it can soften hardened tissues, it can relieve inflammation, it can help you reconnect with that part of yourself that you may have already lost. Please continue reading, because I will tell you step by step how exactly this works, how to properly use this combination, and what changes you will feel in the first 7, 14, and 30 days. You are not too old, and it is not too late for you. Now let us start with what most men over 60 years old have never heard, but absolutely need to know, because before any recovery occurs, you must know the true causes of the loss of your masculine strength, decreased sensitivity, and energy depletion. No, this is not just a matter of age. This statement is too simplified and misleading. Actually, what happens inside your body is much more specific and inspires more hope. First, your masculine strength is not failing, but crying out for help. I have personally communicated with many men, strong, wise men, who created families, built careers, and left legacies. However, when they talk about changes in their body after 60 years, they lower their heads, lower their voices, and quietly say the same thing: I feel that something is wrong down there. They blame age, stress, mistakes of the past. But the truth is that most of them are wrong, and it is not about what they think. What their masculine strength faces is not failure, it is not the end. This is a signal, a warning light, and if you listen to it, this can become the beginning of a beautiful new life. You see, when masculine strength fades, when sensations become dull, when the body begins to seem alienated or foreign, it is not because you are broken, it is because your blood no longer circulates as it used to, because inflammation has spread through the pelvic tissues. Your prostate may be so swollen that it compresses important nerves. Your body gradually shuts down systems that once gave you confidence, connection, and pleasure. But the good news is that all of this can be corrected in a natural, safe, and non-embarrassing way. I remember one of my patients, Edgar, 68 years old, a widower, a man with a rich inner world. He looked into my eyes and said, "Dr. Michael, I feel like I have lost myself." But understanding what was really happening inside his body and making the right changes, a few weeks later, he came to my office again with a smile on his face. Not only because he began to feel better, but also because he felt alive again. Your body wants to tell you not that you are finished. It says, I need your attention, I need blood circulation, I need healing. Once you understand this, everything will fall into place. The question is, what can actually restore blood circulation, relieve inflammation, and turn on your masculine strength again without medications and surgeries? The answer may be right in your kitchen. Honestly, when I first heard about using castor oil for men's health, I did not really believe it. It sounded old-fashioned, as if it was something you could find in grandmother's medicine cabinet, and not something that could help restore blood circulation or return sensation to a man's body. But the more I studied this issue, the more I was amazed at how it works. And today, it is one of the first remedies I recommend when I want to help elderly men recover without taking medications. Castor oil differs from any other oil I have encountered. While most oils remain only on the surface of the skin, castor oil penetrates deeper. It can penetrate through the outer layer into tissues, fascia, and blood vessels located underneath. The benefit it brings is incredible. Anti-inflammatory compounds, circulation stimulators, and deep warming action seem to awaken areas that quiet down with age. When applied to the lower abdomen, inner thighs, or groin area, castor oil gently returns blood to where it has not circulated freely for many years. I remember one patient, 74 years old. He came to me after 2 years of depression. No medications helped, and he almost lost hope of feeling like a man again. We started with something simple. Every evening, he applied warm compresses with castor oil to the pelvic area. Just a few weeks later, he looked into my eyes and said, "It is as if something opened again." And it is not just about physical changes. He had more energy, he stood straighter, and his spirit was more cheerful. What I like most about castor oil is that it does not force the body, it supports the body. It reminds your system how it should work. At our age, we do not need more stress. We need healing that feels safe, natural, and real. If castor oil is the healer, then baking soda is the pioneer. No, I am not talking about using it for baking cakes or brushing teeth. I am talking about using it in a way you may have never thought of, topically, gently, and with intention. I know this sounds strange. When I first recommended this method to one of my patients, he laughed and said, "Dr. Kromova, do you want me to spread this down there?" But a few weeks later, he was not laughing anymore. Most men do not realize that with age, our tissues, especially tissues in the pelvic area, begin to accumulate acid, waste, and tension. This is not something you can feel immediately. It accumulates slowly, like sediment in pipes. Over time, this hardens soft tissues, restricts blood flow, and creates a feeling of dullness. Dullness not only in sensations, but also in self-awareness. You do not feel the same as before, and you begin to doubt whether you can ever recover. This is where baking soda comes to the rescue. It can gently neutralize the acid that makes tissues stiff. It can soften hardened layers that restrict blood flow and nerve response. When you mix a pinch of soda with warm castor oil and apply this mixture to the lower abdomen, inner thighs, or groin area, it creates an opening, an invitation for the body to breathe again. I remember Stefan, 68 years old, who tried everything: testosterone, dietary supplements, and even injections. Nothing helped. But after 4 applications of this mixture, he looked at me and said, "Dr. Michael, I feel warmth that I have not felt since I was 40 years old." The next week, he had a morning erection for the first time in many years, and this was not an accident. This is chemistry working with the body, not against it. This is where everything begins to change, because as soon as you feel even a hint of returning sensations, your body begins to believe that healing is possible. I cannot tell you how many times I have seen powerful things fail simply because they were used incorrectly. This mixture of castor oil and baking soda is not a panacea. It is not a trick, it is a tool. And like any good tool, it is effective only as much as you use it well. When used correctly with attention and persistence, I have seen it release circulation, restore warmth, and bring life back to tissues that have been dormant for years. Here is how I teach my patients to do this. Start with a clean space and a calm moment. Do not rush and do not get distracted. This is not just about applying something. This is about reconnecting with a part of yourself that you may have ignored for too long. Take 1 tablespoon of organic castor oil and mix with a pinch, about half a teaspoon, of baking soda. Mix until smooth. Then slightly warm the mixture in your hands or place the bowl in warm water for a few minutes. The goal is comfort, not burning. Now slowly apply it to the lower abdomen, groin folds, and inner thighs. These are the power lines that supply blood to your masculine strength. With circular movements, gently press. Do not rub, do not rush. This is not about force, this is about signal. You are telling your body, wake up, you are safe, you need to be awakened. Some men cover this area with a warm towel for 20 or 30 minutes so that the mixture penetrates deeper. Others simply lie down, breathe calmly, and listen to their body. However you do it carefully. Most importantly, repeat this at least 3 times a week. Healing will not happen overnight, but it will happen. I have seen this again and again. A hint of sensation, deeper sleep, stronger urine flow, and then confidence. The human body possesses some powerful force that most men forget with age. It has its own answers. We have become so accustomed to looking for a solution outside ourselves, medications, surgeries, and quick fixes. But sometimes the key to healing is already in your hands, literally. Over the years, I have guided countless elderly men in their recovery. But the most amazing breakthroughs often happen thanks to simple things. Touch. Not mechanical, not clinical, but intentional, caring touch applied at the right time in the right place. While I teach my patients to apply the mixture of castor oil and baking soda, I teach them to press on 3 acupuncture points. These are very small and subtle areas, but they act like switches. The first point is located at the base of your wrist in the soft depression, right between 2 tendons. Gentle pressure on this point for 60 seconds calms the heart, opens blood vessels, and shifts your nervous system from a state of stress to a state of recovery. The second point is located on the inner thigh, approximately 4 fingers above the groin fold. Pressing on this point supports lymph flow and stimulates circulation in the pelvic area. The third point is located between the big toe and second toe at their junction. In ancient medicine, this point is known for restoring energy, blood flow, and even testosterone balance. I remember Alex, 79 years old, recently widowed. He came to me not for advice about potency, but then to feel alive again. He said, I do not want to feel invisible. So we started not with medications, we started with his hands, with these acupuncture points, with this mixture, with quiet moments every evening. 2 weeks later, he called me. His voice was louder. Dr. Michael, I feel like I have found myself again. This is not magic. These are signals that are sent to the body to show that it is safe to open up, feel, and recover. Combined with the mixture, they amplify the effect and reawaken your connection with yourself. Most men do not realize that what you eat immediately after applying the mixture of castor oil and baking soda can either strengthen healing or quietly cancel everything you just did. Think about it. You just opened your tissues, stimulated blood flow, and cleared pathways that may have been blocked for years. Your body is finally ready to absorb nutrients for recovery. But if you feed it the wrong fuel, it is like washing a river and then pouring silt back into the upstream. Patient Peter, 72 years old, a retired military man, did everything right. The mixture, acupuncture points, routine. But he told me, Dr. Michael, I felt improvement and then I retreated again. So I carefully asked him, what did you eat after the procedure? That is when everything fell into place. Sausage, white bread, soda, fatty cheeses, nothing fresh, nothing alive. His body was opening and food was closing it again. We made a few small changes. Every time after the procedure, he added a glass of beet juice, which provided his body with a large amount of nitric oxide to improve blood flow, a boiled egg or half an avocado for healthy fats and hormones, a bowl of steamed spinach with olive oil and garlic, one of the best natural artery softeners I have ever seen, and a piece of dark chocolate rich in flavonoids to stimulate nitric oxide and improve circulation. Just real food at the right time. Within a week, everything changed. Not only his masculine strength, but also his mood, his energy, his sense of control. I feel like I have returned part of myself, he told me. You do not need to completely change your diet. You just need to support your body when it is ready for healing. Because when you do this, the results not only persist, they continue to accumulate. Over the years of practice listening to men in the office, I have learned something. The greatest pain does not always occur in the body, but in the head. I have personally talked with men of 60, 70, and even 80 years old who quietly admitted to me that they feel invisible, that they have silently accepted the idea that their best days are behind them. I understand this. When your body no longer responds the way it used to, it is easy to start believing that you are broken. But now I need you to hear, you are not broken. You are just waiting. One of my patients, Theodore, underwent prostate surgery, survived and did excellently with everything. But when he sat in front of me, he said words that I will never forget. Physically, I am fine, but I no longer feel like a man. These words touched me deeply, because I knew that neither oil, nor food, nor tricks would help him until he believed that he was still important. So I asked him to try something simple. Every evening after applying the mixture, he put his hand on his chest and said loudly, I am still important. My story is not over yet. He told me that at first it seemed silly, but over the next few weeks something changed. Not only in his body, but also in his presence, in his eyes, in his voice, in his energy. He said, I feel like I have come alive again, not perfect, not 20 years old, but real, tangible, whole. Your body responds to the signals you send to it. When you treat yourself as a burden, you wither. But when you show care for yourself, even for a few minutes of quiet moments every day, it awakens something powerful. This mixture works, this food works, these acupuncture points, blood circulation, chemical reactions, all of this is important. But what allows it to hold on is faith. 7 powerful truths that most men over 60 years old will never hear. Truths about your body, your circulation, your energy, and your worth. We talked about why your masculine strength did not fail, about how castor oil and baking soda can restore what aging tries to take away, about how your hands, your food, and even your beliefs have the power to revive you. I shared all of this not only as a doctor, but also as a person who sat next to men who thought everything was over until they realized it was not. You still have time, you still have strength, you are still important. Now it is your turn. Turn this knowledge into action. Start tonight, because real medicine lies not only in oil, it lies in ritual, persistence, and the quiet decision to believe in yourself again. This is not the end. This is the beginning of what you never lost. You just forgot how to feel it.